Hello and welcome to our meditation session. And this week we're focusing on what hinders our ability to be mindful, present, steady in our practice. And today the topic is the second hindrance, which is aversion. It's usually translated into English in our kind of Buddhist scene as aversion, though the Pali word more accurately means ill will. So it contains a certain degree of hostility in it. So it's more than simply not wanting something, but rather it's pushing something away or pulling away in a way that is hostile or has animosity in it towards whatever is going on. And to understand this better, we can distinguish two kinds of averting, two ways of saying no. One is with love, and the other is with hatred. And one is with goodwill or kindness or well-wishing, and the other is with wishing ill for something or someone. Another is with hostility, with some degree of animosity. And the difference between these is huge. And how it can feel inside us is different. That when there's a feeling of free loving feeling, a love that doesn't contain clinging as part of it, doesn't there's no compulsion in the love. It's just a generosity, love which is generous. It can be a strong no to something. And when the no is hostile, it comes with tension, with strain, with a closing down, with tightening of the fist in the heart or the mind, let alone the physical hand. And to be able to feel the difference. One is nurturing, nourishing. One is might be energizing, but it's energy which is draining, energy which is contains irritation or suffering as part of it. And so for this meditation, I would like to suggest that you learn to say no during the meditation lovingly, and learn how you say no in a way that is the opposite of love, the opposite of well-wishing or care, or kindness, generosity. So a loving way of saying no is to see that your mind begins going into certain trains of thought, which you know you've done before. Maybe it's resentment about someone, and you've done this many, many times before. Same kinds of thoughts, and you see that they don't serve you at all. Maybe even they're harmful for you. And you lovingly say, no, I'm not going to have those thoughts. You are involved in certain preoccupations that involves hostility, and you say lovingly, no, this is not the time for that. I'm not going to do that. And on the other hand, there might be some thoughts you have or some experiences you have. Maybe your knee hurts. Maybe your breathing is not quite what you want it to be. You're uncomfortable in some way. And you have a kind of a stressful, strainful aversion to it. There's some modicum of ill will or hostility or animosity or irritation, annoyance that's contained in the no, not another, aching knee. No, let's get rid of it. This is terrible, and there's kind of a sense of anger in it, in that ill will, that no. And so, see if you can see that difference, and if you can, lovingly say no to the hostility. Meaning, don't give into it. Don't pick it up. Don't participate in it, even if it keeps moving through you. Step away and see it clearly for what it is. And to make this distinction between a healthy no, appropriate no, that's loving and you kind of enjoy doing it, even though, just enjoy it because it comes from love. It comes from knowing what's best. And the distinguishing that with that which is not healthy, that's harmful even. And keep choosing the healthy no. And apply it to your meditation. Watch your mind. Watch what you're involved in. And if it's not a healthy engagement with waking up, being present in a mindful, clear, clean way, maybe you say no, but lovingly, kindly, in a way that maybe even inspires you to say no. Like, oh, this is caring for me. This is knowing what's best. This is moving in a good direction. And if your whole mental, physical system says no with hostility, see clearly that's the case. And especially if it involves trains of thought. So may this support you to be present, saying lovingly no to whatever takes you away from being present here and now, awake, clear, steady, in the moment. So gently closing your eyes, feeling your body breathing, and perhaps saying a friendly, kind, warm-hearted yes, yes to being here and present in this body, in this experience. Yes to being mindful, being aware here and now. And lovingly, without demands, without hostility, no, not now, for thoughts that take you away. And so we'll sit quietly. firmly saying no, not now, to thinking, wandering off, being reactive. Just no. A kind of no that almost simultaneously is a yes, to hear now. Almost as if you're putting on a very comfortable clothes. Yes, as you step into your body, being here. Being here and now, here in your body. Is there something within you that welcomes you with a yes? Yes, be here in the breathing, in the body, in the awareness. And whatever takes you away from what is good in the body, mind, heart right now, gently, lovingly say no, not now. And as we come to the end of this sitting, letting go gently, lovingly, for everything that takes you away from being here in your body, aware, open, receptive. Here with some whatever degree of calm or stability that might have developed. And is there something here that's appropriate to say yes to? A yes to awareness, being here this way. And is there now a clear sense of a kind no that lets go or steps away from participating in things which are not healthy or useful for you? And in this way, your orientation can be towards not making things worse, but instead to make things better. And as we come to the end of the sitting, to imagine being in the world of people and activities with this orientation. Don't make the situation worse. if you can, make it better. At least with your goodwill and your kindness. At least with the wisdom that knows to say no to making it worse. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. Thank you. So hello on the second day, 5 days of discussing the hindrances. And this is building on the Introduction to Meditation series that just finished, with the idea that once you have the basic practice, basic instructions for mindfulness practice, that one of the really important next steps is to understand what interferes or hinders your mindfulness practice. And that and that does two things. It helps to settle the things that interfere, so it's easier to be present. And wonderfully, what it does, you learn the art of making what hinders our mindfulness, our steadiness, our calm, to whatever that is, to make it the object of awareness, the object of mindfulness. And anything that can be made the object of mindfulness can be related to peacefully, can be related to without clinging or hostility. And the beautiful and inspiring thing, at least for me, of this mindfulness practice, that whatever you can be mindful of, there's the possibility of finding freedom in relationship to it. And to be able to find freedom, anything that in the world of experience, means that freedom can be all-encompassing. 360-degree freedom. And it's not an aloofness, it's not a disconnection, it's, in some sense, it's the opposite. It's learning how to not to be entangled, so that we can be connected with warmth, with kindness, with love, with goodwill to ourselves and to the world around us. So, but that's an ideal. That's maybe the direction we're going. And so one of the things we need to learn is how to turn the attention, mindfulness, to the ways that we are aversive, and the ways in which we have ill will or irritation, hostility, annoyance, towards ourselves, towards our experience, towards other people, towards the world itself. And generally in English, the word aversion represents some form of hostility or anger or some degree or other. And like you want to get rid of something in a hostile way. And some people will walk through the world with an attitude of that kind of hostility, of ill will. They're looking for what is wrong. They're looking for what to be critical of and angry about. It's almost like a atmosphere of aversion they're walking in the world with. And some people, it's something that comes up periodically, maybe periodically good part of the day, but it's not an overarching attitude by which we're living. And it can be quite strong. Certain events can give rise to anger in such a way that we're really feeling a lot of animosity towards someone else or some situation. And it could be some of us sometimes have certain degree of animosity or ill will, or I don't know if that's exactly the right word, but there's certainly stress and strain and anger and eyes that have darts in them towards our computers when they're not, or the technology, or what we're trying to do there. We can't figure it out, and so it doesn't. It's sometimes inanimate objects too that we have this with, assigning blame, criticism elsewhere. So these things exist for human beings, and the radical art that we're doing here in mindfulness is to fold this into our mindfulness, meaning this too we're going to be aware of, but not aware of it to participate, but to be aware as if we're stepping back away from it one step, turning around and looking at it and saying, I see you. This is aversion. This is hostility. This is, the darts of the eyes that are going out to kind of stare at something and indicate, I'm angry with you. This is how it is. This is how the tension in the body builds up. But we look at it, and we look at it with kindness. We look at it with freedom, with non-reactivity, without being caught in its grip. And aversion, wanting to get rid of something, or wanting to get away from it because it's so terrible, can be a tremendous stress and strain. It can be a kind of causing harm even to ourselves. And it might not seem that way, because what's happening might be like, this is really uncomfortable for me, that I'm being harmed by it. But sometimes that's true. But sometimes it's our reactivity, our values, our fear, our pride that is being made uncomfortable. That makes us want to, or our desires are not being met. And so sometimes we are attached to desires. Desires aren't being fulfilled. Something thwarts it. And so now we're angry at what thwarts our desires. All represents an entanglement. There is a healthy form of aversion. There is a healthy way of saying no that arises out of love. And if the word love is too sweet, too grand, then arises out of goodwill, arises out of friendliness, a generosity of spirit, arises out of wanting the best for everyone concerned, and arises out of a goodness or arises out of wisdom. That you say, no, I'm not going to be involved with aversion that way. I'm not going to be involved in those thoughts. Or at least, no, I don't condone this. I don't want to invest myself in this. I might not be able to stop having those thoughts, but I don't have to be those thoughts. I don't have to fall into them and believe them, or. And so, but that can be done with love. when there's something that needs to we say no in the world, like say no to some other person for what they're doing, can that be done with love as opposed to with hostility and aversion? What are we trying to accomplish when we are aversive? What are we trying to accomplish when we have hostility and animosity? Is it simply to protect ourselves and to push the other person away? Is it to retribution, to somehow cause them to feel uncomfortable, for them to get the message and to cower or feel hurt, or to be a little bit more submissive? Or what is it that we're trying to do in the aversive? And is it necessary? Is there a better way? Is there a better way to say no? Is there a way of saying no that doesn't break the connection, doesn't fracture relationships, doesn't diminish other people or see them only through the lens of how they are wrong to us, but rather see them as valuable people, as people that it's possible to have a warm, kind, friendly relationship to if they would allow it. But we say no with confidence. But a no that keeps the door open. A no that clearly shows that we're willing to be in relationship if they change, if they are different. But they feel that the no is not angry, it's not hostile. And so this is not easy to do, but the Dharma practice is a Dharma of saying yes to whatever supports freedom in us. Say yes to whatever helps to nourish the best qualities of who we are to come forth in the world. And sometimes that yes requires us to say no to certain things. And no, I'm not going to be hostile. No, I'm not going to scare this person with my anger. I'm not going to shut the person down with anger in such a way that diminishes them or shuts them up. Yes, I would like to be present. Yes, I'd like to say no in a way that respects them, where I get care for myself appropriately, but I also haven't shut this person out of my heart. It's easier said than done, but it can be learned. And it can be learned by anybody in a way that we can take care of ourselves. Dharma practice is a practice of taking care of ourselves. And so in the process of doing it, we learn how to say no to making things worse. And if we get our way by being angry or hostile to somebody or something, chances are, in the bigger picture of things, we're making the whole thing worse. How do we take care of ourselves and others? How do we take care of things so they're better? This is the art of Dharma practice. And so the simplest formulation of this, a little slogan you can take with you, is don't make it worse. If what you're going to say is going to make the situation worse, don't do it. And rather, make it better. And over time, with Dharma practice, we learn, become wiser and wiser, what the nature of worse is, the full implications of what we do and how it comes back at us and affects us and our relationships. And over time, we also learn what makes it better. And to learn to say no to making it worse can be an act of love, not an act of hostility. To say yes to making it better does not have to be greed, it does not have to be clinging, But in the bigger picture, this yes to what makes it better is a yes that leaves us more free and protected in a certain way, in a good way. So, so may you today explore your relationship to this general category that what fits under this general category that I'm calling no. When you have a no attitude to anything, can you avoid making it worse? Can you avoid that hostility and that no? And if it's necessary to say no, can you explore how do you do it with love, with goodwill? And if this is the way you learn to become wise about the second hindrance, the hindrance of aversion, it'll be time really well spent. Thank you.